Pop in, say hi. If you've never popped into one of my lives before, hi, I'm Cindy. I explore the inside and the outside. And I was just having a little bit of a laugh at myself that I'm just getting too darn comfortable for this because I'm actually sitting here in my pajamas tonight, you guys. And, it's not out of, right, not caring. In actuality, it is about caring. It's about caring for, right, being comfortable in my own home, being comfortable in my live show, where I'm actually just as much as a participant during the week, that Monday to Friday, when I, right, dig into those big words. They're heavy words, right? These are working out old issues. This is untangling the wire. But on Sunday night, it's about letting go. It's about just realizing that you are just one person in this whole wide world. And why not just be a person and, right, practice one of those skills that at one time, well, I might not thought I was talented in, but I know it's through our experiences. I don't think I'm normally an extrovert, but because I love change, I love experiences and adventures, and those only come about, right, by expanding into things that we don't quite understand. So I've had to learn to be a little bit of a extrovert. We have to sometimes just out of necessity, right? Sometimes our job entails us. Now, I am well accustomed to being extroverted. And hello, Andrew. Hello, Owen. Hello, Kathy. I'm accustomed now to being extroverted, but that doesn't mean that those things that, right, that I'm a little bit self conscious about aren't still lingering. I just learned to overcome, right? Out of necessity, even just for my own survival, right? For each one of us, that survival's going to look a little bit different, right? And in celebrating that, right? I'm very comfortable. I'm so comfortable that I'm sitting here in my pajamas with my friends. And it's show and tell night, you guys. And I got a cup of coffee. Let me have a sip of my coffee here. Mmm, yum. It's nice to relax. It's nice to, right, feel comfortable and safe and full, right? Yeah, I'm full. I'm full. Oh, and I got a bit of a mess on my desk here. I've been doing some cleaning projects around the house, trying to get organized and stuff, understanding, as my circumstances change, my living experience will change too. And I've been keeping my eye open for an opportunity or something I hear in opening up to maybe something a little bit better in the way. Well, I'm grateful for the roof that's over my head in the moment, but I would like to be something in more of my choosing rather than out of necessity, right? You guys know that situation that I got myself in, right? I didn't really get an appetizer place, a platter of, right, places to call home, right? This was an opportunity, and I was grateful for that opportunity to come across my path, and I pounced on that. But I feel that need for change, right? I feel that need for something different. And I'm moving towards things, but whether or not it's moving towards those goals specifically. I don't i don't think so, because I have other things, right, that I've got going on at the same time. So sometimes it's not sitting there waiting for somebody to come rescue you, but sometimes it's just letting it go for the moment because there are other things at hand, and recognizing if it should come across your path in a opportunity, a conversation, or an experience, right? Maybe that's that opening. Maybe that's that crack. Maybe that was that movement that we stressed ourselves out so badly about how are we going to do this, and didn't get any sleep when it just happened on its own, right? Just waiting for that right moment. And sometimes we're just not content in that. We want to steer that ship. How's everybody doing this week, you guys? I hope you're having an amazing, amazing week. I know for some people we are getting close to the beginning of the week. I am just going into a set of days off. Let's start it off by saying Happy Easter, and coming down in the comments, I see you guys are already on top of that. Good thing for you guys, right? But happy Easter, everybody. I hope everybody had an enjoyable day. I had a quiet day. I was quite content in my day. I did go out for a little bit, but then I decided to come home, and there were a few options for me today, but yeah, came home after just going off to get my bus pass and a few fluids. This is an amazing fluid. This is, I don't know if you guys have this in the States, this Brisk Zero. I like the iced tea, and this is such a delicious product. I just grabbed it out of the fridge because, right, doing our live, and my coffee I did like a half an hour ago, but I was getting in my pajamas and stuff, and right, and then right, it's time to do my live show, and I'll just say, well, this cup of coffee is full. It might not be steaming hot, but it's full. We're not going to waste, right? Thank you, everybody, and right back, all of you guys, right? Um, Easter does not truly hold a special place in my heart anymore. I'm not one for dwelling on bad memories, but sometimes we get triggered by conversations. But for me, it is in those experiences, and Easter, there was an experience at Easter that kind of lingers with me. But at the same time, there's some beautiful experiences, right? Right? But that's Easter. And sometimes it just takes one experience to right, make it not so special. I remember when my marriage fell apart. Oh my goodness. I packed away all my Christmas decorations, never put up a Christmas tree again, never had my big Christmas parties again, right? I was like the party planners of whatever group I was associated with, and I was always putting on dinners and parties and get togethers, right? Social events. Here in Manitoba, we have something called social. So when people get married, they have these great big parties in the community halls, and you buy tickets to these parties. Whether you go or not, you honor the couple and you buy the ticket, usually about $15 or $20, right? And that money goes to help the wedding, to wait, food, wedding dresses, vehicles, whatever it is, just to make the wedding better. And the place is parties about getting to meet the family, because right, usually all the families there, aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, nephews, right? But then there are all the friends, and because these are open socials, your friends have different friends than you, right? You might be the bride and you invited your friend Jane, but you've never met her friend Susan and Karen and Bonnie, and right? You've never met any of those. come to your wedding social. She happens to be your maid of honor. You get to meet her friends, right? You have an opportunity to expand, just like in joining forces with your new husband, right? By taking on their friends and their families, that it just gets bigger, right? I'm going to taste my iced tea here. Mm, just what I wanted. Knew I bought it for a reason. I looked on the shelf and it wasn't sitting on the shelf. So I says, oh, maybe they're discontinuing it, because I didn't even see, because I looked for the sticker for this one with the zero, because they don't, right? This is the only one that's sugar free, right? So it wasn't there. The sticker wasn't there. And I went, oh my goodness, I hope they didn't discontinue it. And then I walked down another aisle and they had a big display in the middle of the aisle. And I looked and said, oh, there's my drink. And I grabbed one, right? The drinks are getting pretty expensive now. I just was really shocked when I went into the Shoppers Drug Mart and I saw what it was for a little bottle of pop, right? On certain days, on grocery days, the sales, you can get a whole case for the price sometimes that you can be charged for just a single drink. So I didn't linger too long in those aisles. I think it was because I've been very, very thirsty, and I've been looking at different options for fluids, and I'm being creative, but I find myself going back to old favorites because I'm being disappointed in the new favorites. I bought a new one. Was it yesterday? No, when I got lost, I went on an adventure, bus ride adventure, where I got on a bus and I didn't know exactly where the bus was going, and I just rode it, right? And then I got off and I walked and I walked and I walked until I came to a road that I did know and realized how far I truly walked. And the only way to get home even was to turn around and go back the way I came, which is exactly what I did. But I went and I picked out a new drink. It was a case of sparkling water, pineapple. I love the pineapple fruit waters, but right, some brands are more pricier, and these ones were in cans, and they were in a case. So I got like 12 of them for like $5 or $6, and I went, that's fantastic. I love these drinks. That beats paying $1.50, or right, $2 each for these drinks sometimes. And then I got home and I was all disappointed because they weren't sweet at all. It was like soda water, like tonic water. That's what it was like. It was like tonic water. So I added a little bit of sweetener to it, and I still couldn't do it. So I taped up the box, put all the drinks, after I put them all into the fridge and everything, I put them all back into the box, and I taped up the box, and I says, oh, my sister Alice, she'll be all over these for sure. She's gonna love these, right? Just not my thing. I need that sweetness in all of my fluids in actuality, right? But I think that's part of the programming. I don't know about you guys. Let me know if you guys were brought up on Kool-Aid. When my generation in the 60s and 70s, there was a lot of Kool-Aid. TV had just started coming out. Do you guys remember the Kool-Aid commercials with the dancing Kool-Aid picture with the face on it, right? And there was always Kool-Aid in our fridge. It was a very inexpensive, I don't know. I guess my parents thought it was a treat, and I guess it was a treat in a way, right? Until we all had to get to the dentist and have all that dental work done. Yeah. I got dental work coming, you guys, in the next couple of weeks. I'll be making my appointment next week, and we're going to start the process, and we need to get these really expensive things done. It was on my goal list. I'm doing really good. I think I've checked off 4 things already on my goal list. At least 3 things, I think, on my goal list. Yeah, three things on my goal list, right? Just finished getting my passport taken care of. I just got to wait for that one to be approved. It'll be mailed to me, but the postman will get me to sign for it because it's government. So we'll see about that. Yeah, and I'm working on everything right now, right? But the dental is the next big money one, right? So we're going to work on that next, and I'm ahead of the game. I'm right on track in my goals, right? We're taking care of myself to the best of my abilities. Truly, I am a little bit of an energizer bunny in all aspects of my life, whether it's the way I'm thinking, or if it's, all the little projects that I got going on, all the things that I got to get done, all the goals that I got, and I try not to have, right? My goal list here for the year, I think it's got 8 things on it, right? 8 things, and we're starting next week on the fourth thing. So we're halfway through, and I think we're not even. It won't be till September, October, November, December, January, February. So we are halfway. We're halfway into the year. So the big money ones are out of the way now, I think, right? And even part of some of those other projects, because I'm always working on them when I'm bored with one thing, right? And instead of just flaking out and doing nothing and staring off into space, because I have that little bit of energizer bunny in me, that I'm able to flip the script and go and work on another project that I'm doing. And usually I'm working on my trip to Arizona, or working on my trip to Ontario. Did you guys catch that? I'm going to do 2 trips, I think. I'm going to do 2 10-day trips. I think this is the most reasonable way for me to be able to get to Arizona, and to be able, it won't be a super long trip, but it'll be a little bit of a break, a little bit of a teaser while I'm working towards my big trip. Maybe I'll be able to take a few extra days in the Arizona trip and take those days off as well. I'm sure I'm not taking all my vacation days so far, so I'm sure if I had to, I could take 2 weeks off and be able to cover my wages, but we'll have to look into that. But I was thinking, because of the weather in September, I just can't do Arizona in September, right? And I can't wait until March, which is the most ideal. The first week of March is to going on that Arizona trip. I watch some YouTubers who are metal detectors, and they go out and they film and they do content every day too. And so I get to watch the weather change as they go out every day metal detecting or exploring, right? I watch Stealth Diggers and Not Thursday, and they're actually the same brand, but they're different channels on the same brand, right? And I just love their channel because, well, I feel their heart. I feel that they're good people. I feel the connection to Mother Nature, and that presentation of Mother Nature for the people that come in and watch their content, because I feel I get something out of that content, right? So why did I delve? Oh, because of the weather changes. So I know that in September it's just too hot for me, especially when I'm going to be digging for crystals and opalized wood. I won't be doing it in the national parks, but there are some privately owned spots where you can get in on, and they'll let you dig on their properties for this opalized, well, it's petrified wood. It's They're trees. It's from a forest that's millions and millions and millions of years old, and the wood is so opalized now that you can see right through it. It's turned into crystal, because it's just been around for so long, right? And it's absolutely beautiful. I want some of that. I want some of that. And I don't know. I'm drawn to that area, and I am a rock hound, and the Grand Canyon is down there, and I'll be able to cover a few other states. So that's the plan. I'm going to do 2 trips. Okay, let's see what's going on in the comments tonight. Oh, sparkling water. It's like soda water, Andrew. It's like soda water, except it's flavored with fruit juices, right? Sparkling water is like soda water, but it's got fruit juices in it. Yeah, Kool-Aid. Oh my goodness, what was your favorite flavor of Kool-Aid, Owen? Tell me what your favorite flavor of Kool-Aid was. I had three favorites. My absolute favorite was the lime Kool-Aid. I love the lime Kool-Aid. I love the tropical punch Kool-Aid, and I love the cherry Kool-Aid. If you really I don't think there was a Kool-Aid I didn't like. I liked them all. I wasn't a big fan of the blueberry and the strawberry, but those were Kool-Aids that came out later in the 80s. And maybe they were there in the 70s, but I think in our family, my mom stayed basically to the standards when it came to the Kool-Aids. But I remembered I wasn't a big fan of the strawberry or the raspberry, but I was a big fan of I was even a big fan of the orange Kool-Aid too. Yeah, I liked Kool-Aid. I liked Kool-Aid. And a lot of people would bulk at Kool-Aid, wouldn't it? Wouldn't they? Because it's such a zero food. It doesn't offer anything except to change the perception of what we think something tastes like, right? But it does hydrate us, right? Right? My brisk iced tea has sweetener in it, right? That's not good for you. But it doesn't have any of that that makes the bubbles. Andrew, help! What makes the bubbles in the pop? It's not CO2. Maybe it is CO2. No, CO2, because H2O is the water. Yeah, so CO2. Carbonation, yes. Yeah, the carbonated. Yeah, it's not carbonated. And sometimes that carbonated will contribute to the acidity, and it will contribute to there was something else. Well, the same effects, the caffeine, right? The caffeine, because the caffeine is in the. Well, that's not true, because 7 Up doesn't have any carbonation, and neither does root beer, or doesn't have any caffeine, yet they have carbonation. So I don't know what it is, but it sure is good, though. I really love the 0-calorie brisk iced tea. It's really good. I'm kicking my jar. I've got a jar here, and I've been starting to put money in it for my trip. This will be the jar that will be for my American money. So before I go on my trip, I'll take the jar to the bank, and then I'll take my silver to the silver sellers, and I'll sell my silver, and then the silver will contribute to the gas, and then whatever's in the jar will get turned into American money, and that American money is my coffee money for my trip. Oh yes, I would go to the States. I'm going to make sure I bring our Tim Hortons with me across the border, because I'm very particular about my coffee. And I remember on my trip to Minneapolis, I couldn't find a good cup of coffee. Oh no. Yeah, I said I did find one good cup of coffee, but it was in a gas station. But then I remembered that wasn't going into the States. That one was when I was going up to Thunder Bay, or was it Toronto? But I was going somewheres. Yeah, it was in Canada. So we got show and tell. I only have a clue of these couple of things that I can see in my clear bin. So we're going to do these 3 things first, only because I can use the bin to put everything in. And if I'm right, and then after my live show, if I really, right, I got my pajamas on, I just want to, right, I just want to turn everything off and go to bed, then I could, I won't be able to do that. I probably wouldn't do it anyway. I was just going to say I put a roast in the oven just before I started my live show. Okay, so the first thing I've got, I'll just show you right now, is I got a container here. It's a Rubbermaid container. I paid $4 for the container with a staff discount. I paid $2.80. I needed a bigger container for my winter socks, you guys. That contained, I was going to use my file cabinet because I made some space, and then I had this file cabinet, and I said, oh, that'll be a great sock container. But my socks are falling behind, and I have to dig for them, and some of my favorite socks are already behind there. And if I don't get them out, I'm going to forget that I even have them and miss out on wearing them with the perfect outfit. Okay, so I just showed you the Rubbermaid container first, only so that I can use the container to put everything back in as we look at them. So the first thing, you guys know that this is one of the colors of my kitchen moving forward. I know I said I wasn't going to buy any more mixing bowls, but the majority of the mixing bowls that I have, I think almost all of them, are orange, and I don't have a blue one. So in exchange, because I put a charity bag together to go back to work for donation, I will donate a couple of my orange mixing bowls, and I will replace it in this mint. And this one is Pyrex, and I'm sure it's Pyrex. Yeah, it's Pyrex. And it's a beautiful farm scene. I sell this on occasion. It comes into the store. It sells on eBay pretty high, and especially when it's in this condition. But keep in mind, if you were going to get this, there would have been a smaller bowl, and there would have been a larger bowl that went with this set. So it would have come in a set, and to buy it now, you probably pay maybe $60 or $70 for the set. This one here you might get $15 for, because it's in such nice shape, right? Okay, and then again, the same blue, but it's my kitchen carpet. This is going to be the carpet at my kitchen sink. I'm just putting this away for when I move. I'll wash it and then roll it up and put it away. But I got a blue carpet. It's going to look so pretty in my kitchen with the blue, white, and orange. It's going to look so lovely. I'm getting rid of all my coffee mugs. I have so many coffee mugs. It drives me bonkers. I love them because they have inspirational quotes on them and motivational sayings. But I've got so many of them. They've got to go. So when my sister has her garage sale, she's selling the house. Her and her husband have separated. I'm so proud of her that it took a lot of courage for her to do that. And she's doing it well, you wouldn't understand if I said, but she's in a really, really bad state. And she's trying so hard to put her life back together, and she's doing it. But oh man, that's gotta hurt. But we all have our struggles and our moments, don't we? Right? And I'd love to be in that mix with her, but then again, I wouldn't, and I don't think I should, right? Because all our lessons are different, right? And I noticed that the few times that she's had those hiccups and uncomfortablenesses come really, really bad, well, it's when we've had some kind of connection. So I'm going to trust in my intuition and say, okay, I'm just going to give her a little bit of time. She's going through her own experience, right? And just let it be her experience, right? There's lessons in that. And I trust that, right? We'll have an opportunity to get together properly. I sent her a message this morning and wished her happy Easter, and invited her over to share my my pork roast. I would have had it in the oven sooner if she was going to come over for dinner, but she said that she was planning on just making a turkey leg for herself. So that's good, right? That's good. That's how it starts sometime. Okay, I've got a big garbage bag here. I have no idea, except for the first two items that I can see just on the top. I have no idea what I've gotten. It wasn't a very high one this week or this payday. I only spent just over $50 in my staff charges because I spent so much the payday before because I got my little dinette set that I've been waiting for it to come into the store, and it came into the store when I have that opportunity to buy those pieces that I want at the prices that I can afford. I have to do it. I snooze and I will lose if I'm not on it. So I bought my dinette set, and that made me go over my allowable spend when it comes to my staff charges. Very grateful that I bought it, right? It's done, right? I've got it. It's sitting here. I just need the two chairs, and those two chairs, they roll around all the time. But I couldn't buy the chairs earlier because I didn't know whether my set was going to come with chairs or what color of chairs or what style of chairs I was going to get. Kind of had an idea of what I wanted, but right, really love my new little dinette set. I'm using it right in this moment. Hello, William. Hello, William. I'm just going to pull into the back a little bit. You guys know in the store that I work at that we get a lot of IKEA stuff. Like stuff comes in from IKEA all the time, and the packages are always brand new and never opened. I don't know why that happens. If people buy things and because they're just going to the store for the experience, that they're just buying something with the intent of maybe using it because it's a little bit different. What I have here is some if you can see in the diagrams there are two there's three bags there. They're for clothing. I'll be switching out my closet, and I noticed with my fan going this winter that I really had to keep an eye on my closet because I have a cat, that the fans that I have on me at night plus the heat in the wintertime, her hair ends up on the shoulders of the clothes in my closet. So I had to keep a close eye on some of those outfits that I don't wear very often. And probably because I don't wear them very often, they can be donated, right? They can be donated. I have way too many clothes now, so I just want to save my few. But I do want to bag some of them, right, in these clothing bags. And I paid $2, but with my staff discount, I paid $1.40 for 3 garment bags. Nice clear ones, and I'll use those when I switch my closet over. And I'll be using those with some of those outfits that I don't want to ruin. Okay. I bought a couple of these, you guys. I have the metal ones, but these are also Pyrex. I think they're Pyrex. Maybe not. They're maybe not Pyrex because they'd be properly labeled. But it's in really good condition. And I thought this would be nice for a little loaf or a meatloaf or a little shepherd's pie or a little lasagna, something I could put in the freezer or something. And this was only uh so I got this cost me $1.15 with my staff discount, $1.15. And I got a couple of these. It's inside my bag there, the other one, but I know I got a couple of little ones for little meatloaves or something, right? And I might use it tomorrow, make a little meatloaf. Oh no, I put the pork roast. I forgot already. Got the pork roast in the oven. So I'm gonna probably have a fried rice tomorrow. So I'll cut it into and make 2 meals out of it, and I'll do maybe a curry tomorrow, or maybe just a nice fried rice, messy rice. Okay, you guys. Oh, yes, I remember I grabbed this. Oh, this is really nice. And this was brand new. This was never used. And this was, what's the price tag on this? This was $3.50. So this cost me $2. This cost me $2. Keep in mind it's brand new. It has the little pop with the screws. Right? How much did this cost me? $2. $2.40. $2.40 with my staff discount. It mounts to the wall, right? It mounts to the wall, and you could close it up, and when you need it, it's right there, right? It's right there. And it's got the magnifier, and it's got a normal one, so it's got two different ones. So you could swing it this way, or you could swing it this way, right? So I thought that was pretty amazing for $2 and something cents. That's going to look really nice, and I'll get use out of that, right? Keep those pores clean. Watch the wrinkles roll in. It's really interesting watching my skin age. I don't know about you guys if your skin has started to age or not, but I'm watching my skin age. And when you look at wrinkles, you see the lines in people's faces, and mine are like little squares. My wrinkles are like little, I don't know, alligator skin squares or something, like that. That's how my wrinkles are. So I think that's pretty neat. I just thought it was interesting, good or bad. I don't think it's either or. I'm very grateful that, even in this late stage of my life, that I learned to, appreciate that I'm perfectly fine without makeup. There was a time I wouldn't even leave the house to go to the grocery store without the makeup being applied. I couldn't imagine how many thousands and thousands and thousands of hours I spent in front of a mirror putting makeup on. It's just a shame. Okay. Yeah, William, nice to see you, dear. I'm just going to scroll back in the comments here. My well ran dry a couple of years ago, so I never complain about the rain anymore. And so that makes it so that your rain or your well is full now, or does it dry up and stay dry forever, Kathy? I'm not familiar with how wells work. Maybe a little bit, right? Like I said, you pick up these experiences and they give you enough to at least get into the conversation. So I know a little bit about wells because, when I was exploring the abandoned farms, those wells, you'd never know where they were, right? You would never know where those wells were. And when they covered those wells, they covered them with wood planks and logs and stuff, because that would be safe, right? It would be covered, not realizing that, those houses after 50 or 60 years, that wood was going to rot. But I was always nervous. That's why I always took a walking stick with me when I went exploring farms and stuff, and why I went so slow, and why my camera was always in the grass and always in the weed all the time. When you saw that, for the most part, that's me not paying attention to what I'm filming. That was me paying attention to, where's the well? Where's the well? Made me nervous. That was one thing that did make me nervous when I was exploring the abandons. Okay. Andrew says, I heard that in the early days of punk rock, people would use Kool-Aid powder for changing their hair color. That's 100% true, Andrew. They did do that. For me, myself, I used Kool-Aid, but I also used just regular cooking food coloring. And it was, I have no idea how I managed to get out of high school as unscathed as I did. It should have been a lot worse because I tell you, I'd go to gym and every day my face would be a different color because I would sweat, right? And that food coloring would just like drip down my face, and my face would look like a rainbow, right? Seriously, it would look like a rainbow. My mother would just laugh at me when I would leave. She wouldn't even do it. She would just sit on the couch and she'd look at me leave the house. She would just laugh at me, right? Like the Snow White's mom. She would just, yeah, my mother. But she was probably right. My mother said she just couldn't get over how I would take the eyebrow pencil and I would take it from one corner of my eye right to my ears, she said. And I would also put great big diaper safety pins through my ears and I would hook chains through them. So I would have these great big baby diaper safety pins through each ear and have a chain that would go down here. And sometimes I would just load up the chains like that where I would just freak out. I wouldn't even move my head because I would be so worried that my hair was going to get entangled and I was going to get yanked around and lose my ears, or somebody was going to decide to give me a tug or something. And yeah, but that was the day and age, and that was that part of that fun, and that was me wanting to be a part, right? I wanted to be a part of that fun. And for the most part, I think maybe that's when, well, I'd have to say that uniqueness was already there, but I thought maybe that's when I really started coming out of my skin, really started, exploring and taking in those lessons that, my dad loved life so much, so much. If he could have lived another 40 years, that was his plan. He did everything he possibly could, right? Except take those easy jobs because, right, he was all about the adventure himself. And if he didn't take care of himself in any way, that would have been one way that he didn't take care of himself, is he was very precarious in his movement. He didn't truly watch out for himself, and he didn't truly watch out for his family. We were all feral, and we were all what is it? We were all we were all reacting to our environment, all of us, every single one of us. And right, we have a lot of crazy traits in my dynamic family, sweet traits, right? All of my sisters are very special, right? And I mean that they, right, I still wouldn't have had them in my lives if they didn't contribute something magnificent, right? And that is a guilty honest truth in that. But I'd have to say, I gave I gave just as much, if not more, in return for that, right? And I sacrificed a lot of opportunity and a lot of life that I might have created for myself in a more energetic and youthful time in my life, right? Rather than what we're doing now, which is perfectly fine with me, right? Better late than never. And it's still a part of my life, right? And at least I have those answers and those tools now that I could better manage a lot of these situations, a lot of these conversations, a lot of these experiences that I was having, that right, I just bumbled through them. Now I can have a little bit of not super aggressive control, but more of a boundary kind of control, a little bit more of a say in the movement that right, being the creator, right, of creating the best human being I possibly can, right, through my choices. Oh, I gotta have another sip. Yeah, very, very thirsty this week. Lots of fluids. Okay, you guys, dig into this bag. Like I said, it's not a big bag. These containers are really good. Between the two of them, they only cost me 70 cents. So I got two of them for 70 cents, and they're just snap containers for the fridge. Sometimes they take chlorine. leftovers, right? Maybe I'll take her some fried rice to work when I go back to work and stuff. And these containers are great because then she always gives me my containers back anyway. But, right, it's nice to have these containers around for the fridge, for the leftovers, and for when I, right, want to take something to somebody else to try out. Okay. Oh. Now I'm looking at my bag now. I can see remember what we said? We had our biggest sale of the year last Sunday. Oh, it was last Saturday, Friday and Saturday. It was so hard. I was really, really sore for 2 days. I couldn't even move. My arms felt like I was pumping iron, right? And then my third day of my day off, my arms settled down. They felt a whole lot better. But it actually did take 2 days for that discomfort to go away. But in dollar days, we had the opportunity to also partake in that sale. And you know me, I like clothes, and the clothes were only $1. Everything else in the store was 50 cents. So a few of these things. So I have the $50 that my staff charge was, and I'm not quite sure what things were from the dollar days. But I just dumped a bag, and I think this bag that I just dumped in here is part of that dollar days stuff. So I got some good deals in that, but I don't remember what I've got here. So we're just gonna pull out. Okay, so one thing I got, you guys know when I see those kind of slippers that I need, because I'm very specific about the sandals that I wear around the house. They are my slippers. I never walk on my bare feet ever. I did get some tetanitis, they call it. I worked in a plastics plant. I ran a cafeteria in there, but it was concrete floors, and I worked those concrete floors in cheap Walmart runners for 5 years. My feet gave out on me. I almost had to quit my job. The guys had to go and buy me a special pair of shoes so that it could take all my weight off of my feet. Miracle shoes. Oh my goodness, right? Miracle shoes. If anybody, they were just rubber and they looked like spaghetti underneath, right? And they were just made of rubber, and you strapped them over whatever shoes that you were wearing. But oh my goodness, those saved my feet. And that pain was there for 9 months. I expected it to be there for almost a year. My doctor told me it was going to be there for a year, but it was actually there for 9 months because I did whatever I could because I was such an outdoors person. It was my dream to be 80 years old and to be able to ride my mountain bike with my basket. And that was my dream. That is my dream. That's my intent. That's the plan, right? So when I went through that experience, I said, never again will I not pay attention to my feet. I will always take care of my feet moving forward. But I love the outdoors, right? So I walk. I know my excessive weight contributes to adding weight to my feet, but I make up for it for buying good, good, good sandals and good shoes. And these are slippers for the house, and you can see that padding on those. So I'm hoping because these, right, these pull off and strap around, that these might be very comfortable slippers around the house. With my staff discount, these were $2.70. And they'll be my new slippers if they fit good. And I'll wear them around the house tomorrow when I do some of those house chores. The plan is tomorrow's house chore day. I have a cupboard in I have a door in my walk-in closet, and I have one of those racks on it where you can hang coats and stuff on there, but it's not very strong. It's really actually quite cheapy aluminum stuff. And I hang my donation bag there, so every time I come across things in the house that I say, okay, that could be donated, and I try and do a donation bag once a week, and I use those recycle bags and I throw stuff in there. But sometimes it gets so heavy with the things that I'm throwing in there that it falls and then I break things that I intended to donate. So I grabbed a nice big strong one. It's a heavy duty one. My bags are not going to break on this. This was $1.60, or sorry, $1.70. No, sorry, $1.40. This was $1.40 with my staff discount. It's just one of those things that go over your door, so I can hang my. I usually hang them over my bathroom door, my front door. I have one by my closet for my coats, and then I have one over the walk-in closet for my donations and my backpack. Right, so that will be for my donations in my backpack. Okay, I'm trying to keep up on the comments here, you guys. Come down here a little bit. I like the root beer too, Andrew. My mother used to make root beer. It wouldn't have been the bubbly root beer, right? We were talking about the carbonation in the drinks. But Hires made a syrup. And it's funny that you say that, because this morning I watched Bottle Diggers, and there's this one gentleman that I watch. He's called Prairie Plains, and he's a bottle digger out of the states, I think in South Dakota, and he digs privies and outhouses, and he digs for bottles, right? But he came to one of those privies, and he said he dug out, and he was showing us about 8 or 9 root beer extracts. Who made them? Oh, you guys know them. They were traveling salesmen. They usually did the spices and thing. What were they called? They're still around. This company is still around, but they did the spices. Oh, apple Kool-Aid. I remember the apple Kool-Aid, Owen. Oh, and I've been concentrating on the colors of the mixing bowls, Owen, and not really paying attention to the material, but I really love this blue Pyrex mixing bowl. It's really good quality. It's vintage. It's probably 60 years old, but they never used it. I have a little couple of little Pyrex custards that I keep in the cupboard, and I use them for the cat because the cat likes the meat chicken sauces, the chicken and vegetable sauces. So I'll just give her those sauces as a treat every once in a while. She likes those, and I use those little custard bowls from Pyrex that for those for the cat. Okay, there's William. Hi, Wade. Happy Right? Oh my goodness. Happy Easter, Wade. Thank you so much from Mexico. On my Instagram, I have quite a few people who follow my content from Mexico. And we have Father David too, our padre from Mexico too, right? Who pops in every once in a while. He's an amazing gentleman. I'd like to put a package together right, for him and send it off. Okay. I'm all about that too, Andrew. Right? Those. Oh, you found those root beer bottles, those little root beer extracts too. I can't. Do you remember the name of the company? I thought it started with a W. Watkins, that's what it was called. The Watkins Company sold those root beer extracts. When they came to the door all the time, my mother used to buy them, and she'd buy every once in a while. My dad was a cab driver, and he'd bring home those great big 4 or 5 gallon jugs, glass jugs, root beer jugs, and we'd drink root beer. Oh, it was such a treat getting the root beer in those jugs. And then my mother would keep those jugs and she would refill them with her own root beer, right? She would make her own root beer. Oh, isn't that interesting about the hotel or resort? I have a plan for my own resort. It's not really a resort, it's more of like a retreat. I found the most amazing house in Thunder Bay. It's a house that has the main floor, which was it was what was it? It was kind of like a community center where they'd have like libraries and tables where people would get together and have talks and coffees and stuff. It was just kind of a little community place. And then upstairs, it had three apartments, and I went, "Oh my goodness!" And it was so fantastic, right in Thunder Bay. And I thought, if I had a place like this, I would do I would do retreats is what I would do. And I would pick everybody up, right? And we would be right digging for amethyst, right? Going digging for amethyst, and I'd have my own center to do these retreats. It was just an idea. I have all kinds of ideas, but unless you put the ideas to practice, they don't mean nothing, right? They don't mean anything. But when Andrew was talking about what was it, the resort, I was thinking retreat, right? And I thought of that retreat that I was thinking about when I saw that house. I went, "Oh my goodness, that would be the most perfect place to put together a retreat," right? And then just have people come out maybe once every 4 or 5 months, right? Do a retreat and get to meet people and have experiences together. Because I do believe it's in our interactions, these kind of interactions where, we're all here to live, right? We're all connecting in the live chat, right? Cindy's yibber yabbering away, that we're all expanding and we're all contributing into the conversation, but it's in that physical contact where we can actually do some damage. And when I say some damage, I say damage in a good way. That we trigger each other in our changes, right? Right? Yeah, 100%. Okay. Um oh, it was the hires. Okay. Oh, those are from Indiana, the A&W? I thought A&W was actually a Canadian company. Am I wrong in thinking that, Andrew? What do you know about the company A&W? Oh, we know you know something, Andrew. He's amazing, you guys. If you've never come in, if you ever have a question, right, and you need a little bit of Sherlock Holmes, he's so smart, right? And it just comes naturally to him. It's not something he has to go off and research and do, right? It's just something that, because he's so interested in these facts, that sometimes he comes across the most interesting tidbits. Okay, we stumped Andrew then. I think one of the most amazing stories that I remember that you telling, Andrew, was a story of a lady who was um, after the plight of the economy in the 19 teens. It started pretty early, but in the 20s for sure, when the recession hit, and the stock market crashed and everybody was losing their mansions. And you were telling me a story of this lady who would go into these abandoned mansions and save artwork and masterpieces and stuff, or at the very least would record it for posterity. Do you remember that story, Andrew? Do you remember telling us that story? I couldn't remember her name, but I sure would love it if you did remember her name, and then I could write it down And maybe I could go in and watch a documentary about her. That would be I've got all this paperwork sitting in front of me going back years and years and years, and I've got to go through it. I even see some letters from I just looking at a letter here from Kirk from 2018. 2018, Kirk. I wonder if it was the first letter you ever sent me, right? Gonna cover up the addresses. But yeah, there's a letter that Andrew sent to me in 2018. I can't believe we've known each other that long, Andrew. Isn't that incredible? We got to be friends pretty quickly online too. That's pretty amazing, that well, it's rare for me, number one, because I had some pretty big walls in 2018. I had some pretty stuck ideas in 2018. I was living a totally different life in 2018. And you just kind of hung out with me in that process of getting me to 2024. That's absolutely amazing. Alice Randall. Thank you, Andrew. I'm going to write that down. I won't forget the first name because my sister's name is Alice, right? Monica Randall. Okay, I'll write that down. Monica. Okay, I've written it down. Oh, it was a book too. Oh, good. I'm going to write that down. Winfield, because I'll find that book online and maybe I'll read it. Oh, excellent. Thank you for the recommendation there. Well, Sandman, we don't have a topic of discussion tonight. Just start yabbering, just pop into the conversation, and we have all kinds here. Everybody is welcome. I do live shows every day on Instagram and on YouTube. Monday to Friday, I have a live show called Chatters Live. The topics are usually pretty heavy. It's a lot of mindset, it's a lot about understanding emotions, it's about highly sensitives and empaths. Here on Sunday night, it's very casual. It's friends, it's people that just pop in and we keep it light. And sometimes it's not light in truth, right? Sometimes we have bad days, and it's in the uplifting of the people who pop into these lives that, sometimes get us through those rough days, eh, guys? Right? And, again, thank you so much for all your kindnesses, like all of you guys, for what you've been doing for Nancy. Nancy is a little bit of a pit bull. She is managing, right? We each have our own struggles. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times, and you guys put some smiles on her faces, and at the very least she didn't feel like she was all alone going through that. Yeah, so yeah, thank you all you guys, that even if it just kind words, or I heard there was a couple dollars flying her way. I just want to say thank you so much for representing what this brand is all about, right? And even though sometimes I'm not worthy of that word, kindness, it sure does impact, doesn't it? Doesn't that word impact in the most magnificent way? And especially when we live in a world now that's seeing, well, less and less of it, right? That's seeing less and less of it. Thank you so much, Sandman, for popping in. And for those of you who pop in later, I hope you have an amazing day. Oh, you were asking about the topic, Sandman. I got trailed off. What you'll get to know about me in these lives is that quite often we get into a topic and then Cindy will trail off. We do have a show and tell. I work in a little thrift store, And on paydays, I bring my staff charges home, and you guys get to see the little scores that I get. Sometimes they're little scores, sometimes they are big scores. One of those little scores I've got right now, this cost me $2.50. I got this really magnificent bread knife. I needed a nice sharp knife, something that I could trust, something in quality, and you guys know they don't make things like they used to, do they? They don't make things like they used to. This is a Henkel knife. It's a newer, but they have been around for quite a while, and you can tell just in the handle the quality of this knife. So yeah, we're gonna put that away so nobody gets cut with that. Okay. Next thing I got here. Okay, I remember grabbing these. These were really cute. For potato chips or crackers, your bread. Quite often, right? We don't close the bags properly. Look what I got, you guys. Are those not the most amazing bag pinchers you've ever seen? That would keep anything. I could sit here and do exercises, and there's four of them in the bag. There's four of these birds in the bag. I could just sit here and just do this with one in each hand, and I could be doing exercise. I could be doing exercises because they are really, really, really good quality. They're not cheap items, but they're, like I said, they're just bag pinchers, right? Bag pinchers for potato chips or what have you, right? Keep your food fresh. I really love these. It turns out they look like magnets. They act like magnets, right? They act like magnets, but supposedly this is some kind of building light game. Like these are supposed to light up and stuff. I use them as magnets. And they're excellent magnets. They work absolutely excellent. And they're consistent. I do like symmetrical. I do like things symmetrical, but right, things can come a little bit colorful and cluttery sometimes. Okay. Oh, you guys, my favorite coffee mug. I just got triggered. My handle on my favorite coffee mug broke. I'm going to probably have to buy another of the same coffee mug. Sometimes when you find a product and it's absolutely amazing, like my brisk 0 calorie, right? Iced tea. Mm, just perfect. When you find a good product, like my Keen boots that I got for $5, brand new at my work. Right? I would never have bought them if they were $20 or $25, but because they were $5, I bought them, and I fell in love with them. 4 years later, I got a new pair of boots. Got a new pair of Keen boots. But I certainly didn't get them for $5 because now I'm hooked on the quality of these Keen boots. So I'm shredding my old pair. This is going to be the last year in them. And then, well, maybe I'll wear them casually on those days that I don't want to get the new ones really trashy in the beginning. Won't take me long, right? Couple of months and they'll look like the ones I'm wearing now. But I don't care. They're just so amazing. It's the toes, right? It makes it so they're so comfortable that you have the support of the boot, you have the traction of the sole, you have the thermal that's good to -40 outside, so your feet are always warm. You got that there's no ties on them. So as somebody more mature with just a long shoehorn, boom, you're just in them like slippers immediately. They're just like the most perfect senior winter boot on the market. I don't know why they are not the number one boot in the market because they're so amazing. But like that, I loved my coffee mug. It was my Bubba coffee mug, and it was huge, and I loved it. And the handle broke on it. This one doesn't have a handle, and it's not Bubba, but it'll do me. It's a little thermos coffee mug. So it's, I don't know. I haven't used it yet, right? How can anything compare to my Bubba coffee mug that I'm probably going to have to spend $50, that I'm going to probably have to spend $50 on? But this will be, it's going to be like sucking on a baby bottle. Look at it, it's got a nipple and everything. Like, see, already I'm looking not to like it, but I'm going to give it an honest shot to see if I do like it. Maybe it's right. It'll fit in the coffee holder of my right of my navigator, right? For my Lincoln Navigator for my trip next year, this year. Right? We'll see. I'm going to give it a shot. The shot, well, this was only cost me $1.50. It only cost me $1.07. Cost me 90 cents. This cost me 90 cents with my staff discount. It was a no-brainer, right? No-brainer. That was priced a little bit cheap. I think it should have been a couple of dollars, I think. Okay. Seeing it was dollar days, I did get some clothes. A couple of these pieces will probably be regular charge because I had my regular charge the day before. So any clothes that I took on dollar days, I would have gotten for $1. We're looking at summer clothes, right? So I got this little tank top. Right? You got to go through some clothes now, you guys. Little tank top. You guys, I'm colorful, right? I'm colorful. I got a pink shirt, right? These only cost me $1 each. Absolutely love them. I love orange, right? I love orange. So I had to buy the orange sweatshirt, right? Had to buy the orange sweatshirt, and I can see the shorts that are going to go perfect with those up in my closet right now. Oh, these are nice. I do my TEDx talks. They're a pair of dress pants, you guys. Some nice, comfy dress pants for a TEDx talk. They'll be very comfortable, or a nice day at work when I want to dress up at work. But see, my shoes are always comfortable, and my comfortable shoes are not pretty shoes. They're comfortable shoes. So it's a matter of what do I have to wear on my feet that'll make these pants look nice, right? Yeah, been keeping my eyes open. You guys know I do the winter socks. So when the good winter socks come in, that's why I needed that big Rubbermaid container, right? And my outfits for work, always I'll wear black top. I'll wear my black socks, right? So I buy these, for 75 cents. The big winter socks are usually 75 cents, right? Those are perfect for me. It makes like pair number 25 or something like that. I will. When I transfer them into my bucket and do my laundry tomorrow, I'll count all my winter socks because they're all fluffy and big and comfy like that. Oh, I just love this color, the color of my brand, right? Isn't it amazing? It's kind of what do you call this color? Tangerine, where it's kind of a reddish orange. Oh, you guys know guess what I did this week? It's just the silliest thing, right? I got my income tax return, and I hooked on to the best lipstick ever, right? The color that was perfect for me. It's all I wear every once in a while, so I'll just put some lipstick on and I'll head out the door, right? And I found the perfect color, but right, the tube was almost gone. So I says, I'm going to use my income tax return too, and I'm just make sure that I get another one of those tubes of lipstick. They were like $10. They weren't cheap, right, for this lipstick, but it'll last me 4 or 5 months for sure, right? Because I don't wear lipstick up all the time. But it was perfect color. Today I went to get my lipstick and I went, oh, where's my new lipstick? And then I found the other two and I opened it up and I went, oh my goodness, I took the tester. It was half gone. I got a lipstick that all the customers have been trying on through COVID. I was absolutely just mortified. And I threw the receipt away and everything. So it's not like I can take it. I can take it back. And even if I told them, I said, hey, I accidentally bought the tester. It doesn't say tester on the tube of lipstick, right? But we don't pay full price for a tube of lipstick that's half full. So it must have at some point been the tester lipstick. Oh, yeah. I just like, oh, I was all disappointed. Right? When we waste money that way, $10. And, you might think that's frivolous, right? Maybe it was just a lesson that it's just too frivolous of I don't need the lipstick. But I really wanted it. I was just kind of, oh, did I really buy the tester? Oh, right. So it is what it is. I'm not going to use it, but I'm not quite sure which one the tester is and which one it was that was mine that's almost done because they look almost the same. Uh, it is what it is. I'm not complaining about it, but I guess I am complaining about it. Okay, you guys. Oh, aren't these lovely? Aren't these lovely? Right? I got these for $1. These are going to be the best work pants ever. Wow, they're really nice. They're so nice. I just absolutely love them. They are sweats, but they look like dress pants. Don't they look like dress pants? And they got back pockets on them too. I got them for $1. They don't look like they've even been worn yet. And they even have belt loops. Yeah, they're really, really quite lovely. Looking forward to wearing those and hopefully not ruining them. Okay, here we go. What else do we got here? Oh, I got some mosquito coils for my camping. They were only 70 cents with my staff discount, right? But they're brand new. They haven't even been used. They were $1 and with my staff discount, 70 cents. So I said that has to go into my camping gear. I have to keep an eye open for a bigger bag for my safety bag. I took all the bandage stuff, all the medical emergency stuff. I want them in their own bag, right? If I come across a car accident or I have an accident myself, I want to be able to go into my emergency kit and be able to grab, right, the rubbers to tie off the circulation so I don't bleed to death or whoever I'm taking care of doesn't bleed to death, and to be able to have the bandages and the sutures. And I'm prepped. I suspect that I'm prepping like that for a reason, that at some point something's going to come across my path that it's going to be muchly appreciated that I do have those things. But I need a bigger bag or I need a second bag. A bigger bag preferably, but the safety bag that I have, really nice bag. But I guess I could just get a bigger bag and move that one along. Okay, there's a recycle bag. There's nothing in there. Um, ooh, that was an accident. That's not supposed to be coming home. That's not supposed to be coming home with me. That was just an accident. That just ended up in my bag. I don't know how it is. That could just be garbage. Um, One of the girls that we work came across some baby clothes and it had a really cool patch on it. So she put it in my staff bucket for me. And it's where is it? It's a Bugs Bunny that she got me, but it's all sparkles, right? So I'm going to take that and I'm going to cut it out and I'm going to put it with my patches. So I'll be applying that to a pair of coveralls. I'll just leave that there so I can do that tonight. Um, Oh my goodness. I think this is my top, you guys. I bought my own top back. I donated this. I donated this top and I rebought it on dollar days, right? I redonated it on dollar days. I'm not quite sure if it's even comfortable. I guess I'll try it on and see if I like it. There was a reason I donated it. I think maybe it had something to do with the see-through and it showed too much cleavage or something. I have no idea why I donated it, but that top was already mine and I repurchased it. This is for my amethyst trip in Ontario. I come from the 80s and 90s, which were the best time ever when it came to music and clubbing and making friends and having parties and right. And it was the grunge era. And part of that grunge era, right, was the Mac shirt. And I got one my size and in one of my favorite colors. I'm so excited. This is going to be for my trip. So you guys, I think that was my staff charges. It wasn't big staff charges this week. Like I said, I spent just over $50 and I think I might have spent another $10 or $15 maximum when it came to my dollar days items. It was lots of fun. I'm really happy to see those clothes, and I really did get some amazing pieces. I can't believe I got this pair for $1. Oh my goodness, those are going to be the best work pants ever. I might not even want to wear them for work. They're absolutely amazing. We'll see. Might save them for my trip. Right? And we're going to minimize a little bit better even than we did last year. Remember what I said on that trip? Like I still brought too much, right? That we're going to minimize. I did really good compared to the year before, but we're going to do even better next year. That's my staff charges. Okay, let's come into the comments here and see what's going on. Where's my mouse? I don't know where it is. I'll come in this way. Let's see. Andrew says another similar book is Empty Mansions: the mysterious life of Hugwit Clark and the Spending of a Great American Fortune by Bill Deadman and Paul Clark Newell Jr. Oh my goodness. I'm just going to write the title down and I'm just going to find it that way. The Mysterious Life. Thank you, Andrew. Oh, the Mysterious Life of, oh, yeah, I have to write that down. I can't even pronounce it. Nguette Clark. There we go. Okay, written down. And I'll Google that. And thanks for giving me Monica, right? Monica Winfield or Monica Randall, right? And I'll be looking into that story too. Maybe I can find a documentary. I love documentaries. I am a big history fan buff, and I do love learning through the documentaries through YouTube. I just worry sometimes with this digital age that now we're so dependent on this digital age. What would happen if, right, the grid just crashed in this moment? How would we do with that? How would Cindy show up fresh like a loaf of bread? I would have to adapt. I would have to conquer. I would have to find a way. But if the grid's down, the grid's down, right? I think, right? Even though I show up here, I would have to find a way anyway. just to show up. I don't know. Maybe I'll become a traveling, what did they call them when they go in the carts and they would just travel a country and traveling minister. Yeah, maybe a traveling minister. I know my uncle, well, my mother's cousin was a traveling minister. He used to have school buses and he'd pick everybody up on Sunday and he'd fill up the bus and we'd go to whatever church that he was working on, building its congregation. And that was an experience. It was. I went to so many different churches, like incredible churches probably I probably shouldn't have been at, that I didn't really feel like I belonged at, but I was always welcomed, right? And people were always kind and polite to me, and it did offer up experiences. It surely did. Happy Easter, everybody. I'm not super familiar. Like I said, I did go to Sunday school, I did go to church well into my teens until I could make that decision that, I was going to be non denominational, like my father was, right? My father was a religious person, but he wasn't religious in a Christian manner. It was more spiritual. He did more mindset. He moved in kindnesses. He admired different thought leaders, some of his favorites being Carl Sagan and David Suzuki and Jacques Cousteau, and oh my goodness, um, there were so many amazing people that my dad was totally fascinated with. In those days, though, it was television shows and books, and that's how he would learn. And I'm grateful in this digital age that I'm able to learn online. But what if that line were to be severed? Isn't that interesting thought? How would we manage, right? Andrew uses the digital age in his work, right? Would Andrew have a job? I would suspect I would have a job. I would have to take my bike to work every day. I would have to count out money manually to my customers. There wouldn't be any security system. There wouldn't be any way to contact the police if I should need assistance. But I think that job would be there for me in putting a roof over my head. Yeah, it's an interesting concept to happen. I was listening to a documentary talking about documentaries. I was watching a documentary, and I think it was an interview with somebody. I can't remember who the interviewer was, but he was talking to Dennis Quaid. He's an actor. I don't know if you guys know who Dennis Quaid is, but Dennis Quaid is a very, very smart man, very conscious man, and very in your face when it comes to, are you guys paying attention to this world? What's going on here or what's going on here? But one thing he was talking about was the electrical system going down, and he says it's going to happen. He says, these storms out in space just outside of Earth are happening all the time. And when they had what was that, when the ships, they would do Morse codes on those lines that Edison made. What were those, Andrew? Um, when you telegraph, the telegraph system, right? There was a storm 100 years ago that was so bad that, right, it knocked off the telegraph system, that we couldn't talk across to different countries. We couldn't talk even from ship to ship, that it just knocked out the entire grid, right? And he says it's not if it should happen again, that it will happen again. And he suspects it happens once every 100 years or so. And he says, we're in that 100 years, and yet nobody's even talking about it, right? But I'm thinking about it, right? I have to be in preparation for these kinds of things, right? Yeah. Where am I going to move? What direction am I going to move? How am I going to, right, show up for others? Probably be on a street corner, right? spewing my thing. Maybe I'll just be making friends and sharing my ideas and my well, I was going to say perceptions, but perspectives, share my perspectives with other people and just shine in whatever way that I possibly can in my regular day to day. I'm grateful for this digital age because I'm making such movement, but that movement will be just for myself if it should ever crash. Because showing up fresh like a loaf of bread, how would I be able to do it in these lives? I would have to be able to do it in a different way, right? And I think through those experiences in our day to days, that's where we build that experience, right? Yeah, it's probably one of the reasons why I got ah invited to this party, right? Because I'm willing for that challenge. I'm ready to adapt and conquer, right? I'm not going to say bring it on, right? We're not wishing the difficulties. We'd all like for it to be a nice, smooth move, but we also know life doesn't always work that way. It very rarely does. And it would be pretty nice if we can just kind of, right, traipse through those difficulties. I tell you, on Good Friday, you guys, I went for I guess it was an 8 or 10 kilometer walk. It wasn't my intention, but I got lost. I took an adventure bus. I just got on a bus and I just went on an adventure and I got off somewheres en route at one of the stations and I just started walking. I got totally lost in my adventure and I was gone for hours and hours and hours until I realized a street that I had come on and I knew exactly where that street was and I couldn't believe how far I walked and how far off track I was to where I thought I was. And the only way to get to my destination or to even get home was to turn around and just go back the way I came. But what am I going to do? Am I going to beat myself up about it? Or do I take a little bit of a different route so I can get a different landscape, a different experience, right? Maybe be triggered by a smell or a storefront or bumping into somebody, right? Tripping in a pile or having a car splash on me. That in that experience, right? I had a really, really nice day. Unintentionally full of hiccups, but I adapted, I conquered, and I was proud of myself that I was able to connect a little bit to the outside when I know that I can beat myself up when I'm sitting here taking lesson after lesson after lesson. I enjoy the lessons. I do, right? But I still feel the guilt and shame for being all safe and comfy, right? And being able to do what I love and be able to still make that kind of movement. Okay, you guys, we ran over a little bit today. That was my show and tell. Next Sunday, we'll be back. I'll fill you in on what's been going on this week. I'm in my decision making stage right here. I'm making movement. Even though I'm not really sure where that movement's going, I'm just kind of riding those waves, knowing that, right? If I just ride those waves, hopefully I'll just land nice and soft where I'm supposed to be. Thank you for the information on those authors. Andrew, I'm going to take a look at those tonight. Thank you so much for the lovely email, Andrew, that you sent me. And thank you again so much, everybody, for watching over Nancy the way you did. You have no idea what you have done for her, right? Just being friends and just being open to listening, right? Being that shoulder, right? That's everything, right? And there's a lot of people in this world right now that can just use that kind of well, that kind of company, right? Okay, you guys. I guess that's it. If you want to hang out with us on Monday, we do our show, Chatters Live, Monday to Friday. I will be back on Instagram on Saturday. If you want to join me there. If not, we'll see each other next Sunday, right? With Chatters Live. Everybody, thank you so much, and we'll see you next week. Bye bye.